What's up guys, my name's AK, back again with another video, and in today's video I'm continuing my Hardpoint map guide series, and in today's video we're taking a look at Garrison. So let's jump straight into that. If you haven't checked it out already, there'll be a link in the description that will have all of the other Hardpoint maps as I'm adding them, and there's also the control maps and the search and destroy map. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to check that out and also subscribe while you're there. With that said and done, let's jump straight into Garrison Hardpoint, and we're going to start on the blue side spawn. And so essentially in today's video I'll be showing the breaks, the holds and the rotations for all 5 hardpoints on this map, and essentially how you can execute a perfect game of Garrison Hardpoint. So on blue side, for P1, essentially your job is going to be try and flip the spawns. You want to be spawning on the other side because that gives you an easy push to P2. So throughout the whole of P1, you're just going to be putting map pressure on. So having someone set up top grade, people pushing up mid, maybe down the lower mid as well, and also trying to establish some top green control. If you've watched my Garrison S&D and control video, actually, you know I say the top green control and top bridge is quite important on getting that map pressure. So if you can get that, maybe send someone through P4 to jump up to the top. Obviously beware of the enemy push from this side, but yeah, you're essentially going to want to get the top green control and yeah, build some map pressure up, push through towards their side and try and flip the spawns as soon as possible, really. Now, of course, send someone into the hard point. You have someone rack up a bit of time. You can sit on this close corner by the bridge, walk down, and watch. If you do flip the spawns, the enemy push bottom grey. If not, just have someone set up this side. They can watch the backlights push or the jump up mid. But yeah, as I said, your main goal is to flip the spawns. Alternatively, on the red side, if you spawn this side, essentially you're going to want to hold the spawns. Again, if you can, play it scrappy, contest a bit of the hill time. I mean, it's P1. No one's really going to rack up a lot of time on it. But if that is the case, yeah, make sure you try and keep the spawns this side, because P2 you can quite get a bit of time off. Moving on to P2, so starting off, if you say you do have the spawns, you've managed to flip the spawns properly, what's a good setup to play? Now, we always like to have someone set down in the bottom bricks, because there's the two ways that they'll generally push if they are spawning this side. That's either through the top green and push the front, which it's quite easy to actually kill. We'll have someone set up on the stairs here with a Krig, something long range. I know with the new buffs that have been happened, maybe some other guns, maybe the FFAR again, whatever guns people are going to be using, but essentially set up on those stairs. You can head glitch that, you can watch the jump up here, and yeah, you can probably get quite a few kills set up in there, and then essentially have someone just have players dotted around in bricks, and then have one just holding the hill time. Something like this is good setup, or maybe at the back here in case they try and jump over the fence down. But yeah, essentially you want bricks control and you want the hill control. That's pretty much all you need. I know they can flank around the back, which I'd say up until about the 30-second mark you want to watch. Maybe have someone set up in the back if you think there's a possibility that they might try and flip the spawns, but then once it gets to the 30-second mark, you actually don't care if they flip the spawns, because you obviously want to be looking to get the spawns for the next hill. So push this player up into bricks, just play the kills, sort of lock down the rest of that hardpoint time for your team, and then if you're lucky, really, they will push the spawn and you'll flip the spawns for next. Now, if you haven't managed to flip the spawns, chances are you're going to be spawning down this side of the map, probably at the back spawn somewhere down here, or maybe towards P3. But essentially, what you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to push as a team. And I wouldn't recommend stacking up the jump up here, simply because they've got a perfect line of sight there. They can probably pick you off quite easily from there. I'd probably do something like a 3-stack into the bricks. This is quite a successful strategy we found. Have 3 people stack into the bricks, try and push out, get control of this whole bricks building here, and that gives you a nice good route to either push out into the hill or just out into the hill there, and then have one person push top, but have them push from the bridge as opposed to the jump up, because then they can peek around this side, hopefully try and pick up someone that's set up at the back. Maybe if they're on the back radar van thing in here, hopefully you can try and pick them up from there. But yeah, have 3 people push through bricks, get yourself bricks control. If it's early enough, sure, go push the spawns. If it's under 30-25 seconds, push out, have one player push out the back, sort of lock down them spawns for you, block them for the other team, and then have the other 2 push hill, and then yeah, have the player top bridge try and coordinate a push through at the same time and pinch the hill. If you think that it's too late to flip the spawns, or that you don't actually want to flip the spawns just yet, you want to see if you can try and keep the spawns over this side of the map, just send all 3 players into the hill, try and slay out, and then once you've got hill control, send 1 or 2 of them to sort of wrap back P4 around the spawn, just in case the other team have spawned here. You've got some map pressure to quickly go and take that hill back again. So moving on to the P3, again, we'll start if you have control. Essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to have someone lock your back spawns, because really the way that they're going to push is probably P2. You do get quite a few spawns at P2 for this, so they'll be pushing through P4, trying to hit the back here or hitting through mid, and so essentially you're going to want people just sat in the back with your ARs that can watch that kind of thing, make sure that they can't push up. actually in the hill, you're going to want someone probably sitting there, because they do push this side sometimes through the double doors here. So if you have someone set up, there's some boxes just sort of about here that you can get set up on the head glitch, actually staying in the hill. I know if you jump up to this side, you're actually out of the contest spot for the hill, but you can actually head glitch those boxes, and yeah, you can probably pick up a few kills watching the front there. Also on that, you probably want someone set up on the back stairs watching the grey. So this is the sort of the grey platform mid, and you know that there's a push through here. If you have someone set up on these back stairs, you can sort of head glitch that, watch that push. No one will be able to actually come down through there, and yeah, that should be quite good. And then lastly, you want someone sort of hanging around the back here, sort of helping, making sure that you've got the anchor for the spawns. Say a player pushes around the side. This player's going to want an AR, by the way. They can turn around, they can watch the push here. They can also help if there's a push through mid. They can turn and shoot someone grey if there's a push front, through the double doors. And they can also help grey, really. They're a bit of a do-it-all for the hill, getting that map pressure and helping out all of the other players where it's needed. So if you can get a nice strong setup like this, you'll probably be doing quite well. So if you're on the other side and you actually need to break the hill, what can you do? So, well, I guess as with every hill, I say it's all about teamwork. If you hit something as a 4, you can break it. If you hit it one at a time, you're probably going to get picked off. So yeah, make sure that whatever you do, you play it together. I'd recommend normally a push through the mid or through this long sort of alleyway thing here. And essentially what you're going to want to do is try and push through and get the back spawn control. So push through the vans box here, try and slay out, because there normally is one player set up there, try and shoot them in the back, and then sort of break the hill from behind. Now you can send someone front on like a delayed push, so once these players start shooting in the back, these will call out that there's a push to the back, everybody will turn around. If you're lucky, player 3 in hill will give up the hill thinking that maybe someone's coming grey, and they'll turn around. You can flank round and try and pick up some kills as well. So a nice pinch like that works quite well, but essentially it's all about these people stacking the back, trying to get the back spawn control. Now this is a hill that it's very hard to hold without the back spawn control. I dare say near impossible. So regardless really of how much time is on this, you're going to want to actually get into the back spawn, simply because also having the spawns here is quite good when rotating to the next hill. Moving on to the next hill, which is P4, we're going to be talking about a nice setup for that. So I guess a good one, if you do still have this side spawn from P3, is have someone set up on the top tank. Their job is to watch the top green push. You'd have someone set up over towards the top grey, and there's essentially to watch the wrap round here and maybe a push through mid. And then you're going to want these two players, maybe one sitting in hill by the bins. Essentially, they're just playing it nice and close in the hill. And then you'll have someone just roaming around mid, maybe jumping down bottom, picking up kills, just being annoying, getting the kills, slaying out, and just sort of helping your team get that map pressure. Because the spawns for this hill on the other side are normally back here or down P2. So yeah, you can get quite a bit of map pressure on that. And yeah, you can hold this down for a fair few amount of points. So when it comes to breaking this hill, I'd recommend not pushing green. Green is quite an easy choke point if they have someone top tank, or if they have someone set up in green, which is actually another strat you can do if you want to move a player up into green and have this player sit in hill and then have this player maybe towards the back here watching the grey push. That's another nice strat you can do. But anyway, if you're attacking the hill, I wouldn't push top green. It's quite an easy place for them to lock down, especially with someone top tank with an AR. You can just be running into their bullets. You're going to be giving them free kills. So essentially what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make a push towards mid is probably how I do it. Have all your players run out mid, mess around in these tanks and push out, try and pick them out of hill. They're normally sitting at the back here in those bins, or just sort of here behind the barrels underneath the tank. So look for that, get them out the hill, keep it scrappy, and yeah, try and get them out of hill and pick up any kills that you can. Then if you can flip the spawns, again, it's quite hard to lock it down from this side. The spawns normally do come this side, but if you can, set up, have one player watching the long push here. I'll throw these back in their spawn. Have one player watching the long push, because you do have quite a few people challenge here. And then have some people set up watching the mid-map push, probably with one top green. And then you can probably get a nice lockdown on their pushes that way. So that's a nice good strat if you can break it. But yeah, if you've got the spawns at the start, that's going to help a little bit. Now, if you can flip the spawns towards the end half of P4, that's going to be quite helpful. So if you can get a setup like this, for instance, let me just get rid of some of these drawings. If you can get a setup like this so that they're trapped in the P3 side spawns, essentially what you can do is get a very easy rotate back to P5. All you have to do is have your players jump through green. You can probably keep someone in green and then just have your players essentially wrap back, have one player in hill, one player in bricks, maybe one player in green. They can watch the mid flank through here, and essentially this is going to give you a nice easy setup for holding down P5. Yeah, they're probably not going to be able to flip the spawns if they're flooding the front, so they're just going to stay spawning here. You get nice map pressure and you should do quite well. So if you've got control of P4, that does make a nice easy wrap back to P5 if you're spawning on this side of the map. Sorry, I put that in red. If you're spawning on this side of the map. So yeah, if you can do that, make sure you do. Lastly, we'll go on how to break P5. Now, this is going to be quite a hard one. If they can get a nice setup on P5, it's kind of hard to break, but what we tend to do and what has worked a few times for us is essentially just stacking at mid, sending people lower, have them jump out. People don't tend to stack this hill very much. You maybe only have 1 or 2 players on the hill, so if you can actually break the hill and then try and send some players through the back, they can then sort of get your lights control here and also wrap round, try and get bricks control. Bricks is very important on this. If you can get bricks control, you can normally hold this quite well. So if you can get in here, slay out, then that gives you a nice easy wrap to pick anyone that does push the hill. But essentially a mid push and a lights push is probably where I'd go. I tend to not like pushing into this side green. It's quite easy for them to lock down, unless of course you know that they have a lot of players over towards the lights. If teammates called that out or you've seen that, yeah, sure, coordinated push up the bridge round the P2 and to flank into bricks. But if you're sort of running blindly into potential players, bricks is normally quite a hard one to push. So I tend to push towards the mid and light side, unless of course there's information that says you should do otherwise. But that's about it for my strats on Garrison. It's been quite a long video, but hopefully you guys have found it helpful. There's 5 hills on this one, some of the others have 4, so they'll be a bit shorter, but yeah, hopefully you guys have found it helpful, and if you did, be sure to drop a like, and yeah, check out the playlist in the description. There'll be all my control maps, S&D maps and hardpoint maps, so yeah, there's lots of information for you guys to learn the strats that we find that work quite well. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Have a good one.